Alright, I'm making a second video. I decided that I was gonna make another story for my paranormal stories. I'm gonna tell y'all my first one that I ever had, even though I made another video similar to this one long time ago. I just thought I should update this video and update the story, hopefully tell you a better version of it. And so here it goes. It started when I was 10 years old, and me and my mom had lived in this big old house over there by John Deere, and she was living with her boyfriend named Tony Pena. Well, it started off as me coming from school by myself. I was getting dropped off by the bus, and I came home, and two things happened this day. The day that all this happened, two things happened. I opened the door, and nobody else was home. And when I opened the door, there was a room where a pool room, like a game room, and it had the attic right there in that room, but it was open. The ladder was down, and I could hear noise up there, and I suddenly went to this other door to go through the dining room to get to the kitchen, and I grabbed me a knife, as I was really scared. I didn't know who was here, I didn't know what to expect, so I thought that somebody broke into the house. And the first thing I did was grab the knife, and I ran over there. I was really scared. I didn't know what to believe. I didn't know what was going on. Anyways, I went to that room, and it felt like I was in a horror movie, because I was slowly creeping up the ladder with a knife in my hand, and I yelled, "Hello, is anybody there?" And I know that's bad, you do that, but I was a little kid. I didn't know what I was doing. I was really scared. You know, when you're in fear, you really don't know what you're doing. You can't concentrate, and a lot of the times people do dumb shit when they're scared. They're not smart enough to know what to do to defend themselves most of the time. Some people can. But anyways, at that time, I asked who was there, and nobody answered. And I looked up there, and I didn't see anybody, but I was scared when I did that, and I didn't see nobody, and then something fell in the attic, and then when that happened, I fell down. I went back, I dropped the knife, and I fell back, and I hurt myself really bad. And I grabbed that knife, and then I ran all the way into my room with the knife, and I called my mom's boyfriend. That was his house. We were living with him, and he came home, and he checked the house, he checked the attic, and of course nobody was around. So later on that night, I remember finishing watching Courage the Cowardly Dog. I used to watch it all the time as a kid, and after our episode was over, my mom told me, go brush my teeth, and here was the situation. There was a room that was all blue, and that was the room that I was sleeping in, because it was obviously a boy's room, because there was another room across the hallway that was all in pink, and it was a girl's room. And that night, out of all nights that we had lived there in that house, I decided that I wanted to go try the girl's room, because it had a much bigger bed than mine. Mine was on the floor, but this one was like a queen size bed, and I wanted to try it out. and it had nice dressers, and it looked way better than the room that I was staying the night in, so I wanted to give it a try. And after I brushed my teeth, I remember getting my stuff from the other room, and then I went to the other room, and I had a nightlight. I used to sleep with the nightlight on during this time, and so I went to bed, closed the door. I didn't lock the door, I just closed it, and I remember trying to fall asleep, and I'd say, I can remember still, and it was at least 10 minutes. 10 minutes after I tried falling asleep, and the first thing that happened, I remember, was I heard a cat meow from outside, and but it was behind me, but it was coming from the outside, and I didn't think anything of it, and I just went to bed and was trying to fall asleep, and then I heard it again, but it was louder, and then it was constantly meowing, and I was getting really mad, and I threw something at the wall, and then it was silent for like 5 minutes. I thought the cat was gone. And the next time I heard that cat, it sounded like it was inside my house, and I was like, that's impossible. We didn't own any cats during that time. They were all outside. The animals that were around the neighborhood, but we didn't own any cats. And anyways, when I was a little kid, when I slept on my left side, I had good dreams. If I slept on my right side, I had bad dreams. If I slept on my back or my stomach, I wouldn't have any dreams. It was like that for years until this night. Until this night, then it stopped. My dreams had stopped becoming that way. It was weird. So anyways, I was sleeping on my left side, obviously, and then I heard that cat meow again, really loud, and then after that, I froze because it sounded very close. It meowed again, and this time it was in my room, and it was behind me. I was on this side, and I heard the cat meow right behind me in my room, and I was like, in my mind I was thinking that's impossible, but I have to explain this all in slow motion because all this happened very fast. I slowly turned around, and when I turned around, I saw a black cat. Blacker, darker. It was much darker than the dark that I was already sleeping in. It was that black of a cat, and it looked right at me, and it was on a counter, and it hissed, and when it did that, its eyes, I kid you not, it had green eyes, green, like they were glowing, like they were shining at me, and as soon as I saw the cat, I went, and I took a deep breath in, and when that happened, I have to say this really slow because what I'm about to tell you happened so fast. The cat, as soon as I took a deep breath in, the cat had jumped and went all the way to the roof and went past the fan, and when this happened, the cat literally turned into a black cloud above me, like a black fog that was hovering above me. And when this happened, I was laying and I was looking at the roof, and I was stiff. My body was, I could not move for nothing, and I was having a hard time breathing. And it felt like somebody was pushing me down on the bed where I could not move for nothing. And all I could do was just look at what was on the roof. And anyways, it turned literally into a black cloud, and out of this black fog that was hovering on my roof I saw these hands, and they came down, and when the hands came down, whatever was coming out of it came out further, and I saw this long, black, shiny, straight hair, and I remember seeing huge red eyes and the sharpest teeth, the scariest teeth I have ever seen, and its hands looked like it was rotten, it looked like it was bony, and it had sharp claws, and it came down toward me, looking at me, and I remember having tears coming down my eyes because I couldn't move. All I could do was stare. I was petrified at what I was seeing, and at that moment I was thinking, this has to be a bad dream. This cannot be happening. Until after it came down toward me, it came this close to my face, and all of a sudden I saw its hands go whoosh, and it touched my chest. Its claws had clawed my chest, and as soon as it did that, I felt a release. I felt like my body was free. I didn't feel anything holding me down, and as soon as it clawed me, I quickly rolled off the bed, and then all of a sudden I hit my head on the corner of the counter, but I was too scared to worry about the pain, and I was running to the door, and for some reason the door would not open. I was opening and opening and opening it, but I was so scared I couldn't open it right. I turned around and it was coming toward me, and as soon as I was able to open the door, I ran and I banged on my mom and my mom's boyfriend's door, and he came out with a rifle, and I was like, "There's somebody in my room! There's somebody in my room!" And I was crying and screaming and yelling and crying really hard, and I was just petrified. My mom, she had never seen me that scared in my life, and I told her what I saw, and I told her, my mom's boyfriend, what I had saw, and they blamed it on the scary movies, because as a little kid I used to watch scary movies a lot. But I knew it wasn't my imagination, nor was it a dream, because what I saw was there, right in front of me. It was physically there, and I knew it was, because when my mom told me these words, she said, "Michael, you need to quit watching those scary movies. It was just your imagination." As soon as she said that, I grabbed my shirt right here at the top, and then I pulled it down, and I said, "Does this look like my imagination?" And then she saw the 10 claw marks, and my chest was bleeding, and I told her what had happened, and how it had clawed me. And then as soon as she saw that, she became really religious, and she got scared herself. I was petrified. I couldn't stay up at all. My mom had to take me to my grandma's house that night, in the middle of the night. It wasn't the middle of the night. It was around 10 or 11 something, when I was just getting to bed. And I went to my grandma's house, and my grandma believed me. She totally believed me, because she saw the claw marks too. Plus, my grandma has always believed in the supernatural. And anyways, ever since that night, I had became interested in anything that had to do with the supernatural, the occult, ghosts, demons, religion, aliens, monsters, anything that you can think of that could be a mystery, or anything that had to do with that kind of subject. And that's when I started dressing black, and I started getting more into things that were darker. And after that night, the reason why I got into darker things was because of that night. When I was a little kid, I wanted to know what I had seen. I don't know if it was a ghost. I don't know if it was a demon. I don't know what it was at all, but I saw it. It was there. I felt it. It harmed me, and ever since then I have been interested in anything that had to do with the dark side, and I still do. And that is the first thing, my first time I saw something supernatural, and it was the scariest thing I had seen. And I just thought y'all should know. Yeah.